All right, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming in today. We got an hour class today, so we're going to try to get some questions and be out. Got 10 participants so far, so let's go over this information real quick. We got to continue what we were talking about last time as far as trust, common law, and the International Revenue Code. That IRS publication about the differences between express trust and all of the other different types of trust that are out there. We want to see how ours is different and how we're going to utilize it when it comes to income. Most of us are still employees. Others are business owners, self-employed. So we have to take an account as to how this foreign trust is going to work for us in reducing taxation from 0 or maybe even 1%, maybe 2%, but depending on where you are, but we want to get all the way down to 0%. That's what this is all about. So go back to sharing my screen. I will continue reading the IRS publication, go over some information, and then we will get to questions and answers. All right, let me go back up. We left off on the section of, is your trust required to be registered with the state? Interesting subject there. Here it is right here. Go ahead and zoom in. Does a trust have to be registered with the state? Number one, it says no state filing. It's not required. Unlike corporations, LLCs, or limited partnerships, trust generally do not file their governing instrument with the state to become legal. However, a will that includes a testamentary trust is filed with the court as part of the will probate process. Now, why is that? When you're dealing with the probate and you have a will, you're going directly into probate. If you want to avoid probate, all you simply do is make your trustee minutes a form of a new testament for the testator. And so you don't get a testament until the testator has died. So this is why you want to have your trust put together before you pass, so that way you avoid probate and that long process that goes along with it, just to simply transfer assets over to the next generation. So please have that express trust filed. Now it says you don't have to have it filed in the state. What about the county? What about the one where they hold a higher position over the state, over federal, over FBI, and all those other agencies that the Department of State, as far as the executive department that they create? The county is the most important place because that is where the sheriff lives. No other entity like FBI or IRS, they can't come into the town without the sheriff's permission. He has to know. So this goes back to the laws of your DBAs. All DBAs, in order for you to understand what was yours and for the state to understand what was yours and what was not theirs, they would go down to the sheriff's office and figure out what things are registered with him. Is this your cattle? How many cattle do you have? Is this your land? How far does it go? What kind of branding iron did you use to claim your title? All of that goes down to a DBA in common law. So there's no state requirement, right? But there is an important aspect when it comes to claiming what's yours in the trust and putting that down with the county. That's why we do that. It says a few states have adopted Article 7 of the Uniform Probate Code, which requires the trustees of all states to register in the court of the principal place of administration of the trust. The Uniform Probate Code imposes penalties on the trustee for failure to register, but does not invalidate the trust. The trust instrument usually indicates the state law under which the trust is organized. If it doesn't, the determination specialist should ascertain the state law and get a representation from the trust that is properly organized under the state law, particularly if there is doubt as to the validity of the trust. Like other nonprofit organizations, trust must keep orderly financial books and records and minutes of meetings and decisions, resolutions by their trustees. Now, you guys know we do this. It's out of your templates. I've given that to you guys. Think of it like this. And I was speaking with one of my private clients the other day, and he kind of gave me a good breakdown that I can share with you guys to understand what your trust is. Your declaration of trust is like the introduction of a book. Your summary minutes is like the table of contents for that book. Tells you what you're going to read about, what page is it on. And then the actual minutes are the chapters of the book. And your proof of service would be considered the conclusion. Minutes adjourned, court is adjourned. Your paperwork is court. You are the common law. When you look at your state's constitution, the Constitution in itself is a trust indenture, right? All of the members who are on or who have given an oath to the Constitution, they are trustees and you are the beneficiary. Now you are the trust protector of your trust, which means you are the trust protector of your private trust indenture, which is a natural person that the law or legislatures have to protect. And all of that is stated within the introduction, the declaration of your trust, because that is the terms of the trust. Let's go down to the question, can trust carry on business? Remember, you guys look this up and read the entire thing for yourself. We're just going to get into a few points here. Can trust carry on business? Right here. Trusts are generally not precluded under state law for conducting business, if authorized to do so under the terms of the trust instrument. This is by the American Jurisprudence, second, and it's on trust, subsection 349. Highly recommend you go to Amazon and purchase as many at American Jurisprudence books as you can. I have 7 of them. They're hard to get, but when they come in stock, you want to grab them as soon as you can. A trust may qualify under IRC 501c3. We don't want this. Let's bypass. However, corporations are, well, let me tell you why. 501c3 is under the Vicar, the Roman Catholic Church. They're giving you tax liabilities or exemptions if you give them control over your entity, right? We talked about corporation souls, what that was all about. Your Secretary of States are corporation souls that take your property, they take an annual due, and they give it over to the Vicar, the Roman diocese. That's spelled D-I-O-C-E-S-E, Roman diocese. So your trust has nothing to do with the Roman Catholic Church. It does not seek religious immunities at all. Okay, yours is completely operating under the common law. So this is why we don't want 501c3. And it will come back on you. 508, the entire 508 is under this as well. They're very similar. Most have organized their organizations as a ministry or what's called a PMA under 508, and that's tied directly to this. Okay. It says, however, corporations are usually the preferred form for conducting business for liability purposes. And that's it, for liability purposes, so that liability won't be on the individual who created the corporation. That's the only reason why people create LLCs and corporations. The trustee of a charitable trust is personally liable for torts, this is lawsuits, committed in the course of administration of the trust if the trustee was personally at fault and personally liable on contracts unless the contract provides otherwise. Okay. One last part here. How does the trust income differ from principal? This is very, very important for you to understand because some of you are still employees. You are asking about how do you file your trust or how do you file your taxes? What do you do? You're not complete with your process yet. Deadlines are coming up. What is going on? You need to have an understanding of trust income and trust principal. If you know the difference and you know what kind of trust you have, you'll know you've got nothing to worry about. Relax. Understand what they're telling you and how to operate in it. Take a look. State law looks to define the instrument. A trust income must be distinguished from its principal. Allocation of trust assets between principal and income affects the rights of the beneficiaries. Now, who is the beneficiary in your express trust? That is the express trust itself, alone. Not your children, not yourself, not your wife, not your pet, not anything that you can speak to. It is the trust name itself. That is the first beneficiary, and it should be the only beneficiary, the sole beneficiary of your foreign express trust. Okay, so income or principal belongs to the foreign sole express trust. It says principal and income are, to a large extent, defined by the trust instrument. As of January 2000, 41 states have adopted some versions of the Uniform Principal and Income Act. The latest was in 1997. The version of the act defines principal as property held in trust for distribution to a remainder beneficiary when the trust terminates. That means a revocable trust. Irrevocable trusts do not terminate. You are the settlor who created it and gift everything to the trust. When you die, that trust becomes immortal. It lives forever. Hopefully, you have established a good relationship with your trustee to put in place other liaisons or fiduciaries to continue the work of the trust that you've created. So, beneficiary when the trust terminates. Now, here's what income is. Income is defined as money or property that the trustee receives as current return from a principal asset. Now, you know, in the course, we create two different trusts. On one hand, you have the Foreign Express Trust. On the second hand, you have the trust enterprise. Now, check this out. Your Foreign Express Trust, you are the settlor, you are the trust protector, and you have placed inside of that trust a foreign non-resident alien to be the trustee, right? That way you don't pass the U.S. court test and the U.S. control test. The trust itself is the beneficiary. So the foreign trustee is doing everything for who? The trust. Not you, not your wife, not your pet, not your cousins. It's doing it for the trust. Why? Because as you're alive as the settlor, you get to benefit from that. Basically, you get to benefit from tax exemption while you're alive. However, it isn't for you, it's for the trust. You're just a part of the contract. You're just along for the ride. The trust enterprise. It needs to handle all the administration and the banking. That's something that the foreign trustee can't do if he's in another country, he or she. Your foreign trust can do business here in the United States of America. The trust enterprise, it cannot do, the Foreign Express Trust, it does business here in North America, but it can't do banking. That's where the trust enterprise comes in. That's why we've created that. Now, you can have anyone who's public to be the trustee of this enterprise. It could be your LLC. It could be your existing corporation. It could just be you. Better yet, it could be an unincorporated association that you've created. Let's say you made one in California for 25 bucks, and then you brought that over into your state by just filing a DBA, right? Now you go to the bank with the trust enterprise EIN to open up a bank account with that unincorporated association's information. Whoever you've made to be a manager of that association is going to go in with their social, their ID, open up the bank account. Now you have it open. All of your banking goes into this account. Let's say you have one account that's just for bills. Perfectly fine. Go to another bank, open up the same type of account, and that one is just for what? Anything you want. Go and open up another bank. Let that one be for what? Whatever you want. Let's say you want to have savings, just savings. You know the bank is only going to give you 0.1%, and they're making 99% of what they've invested. If you don't want that to happen, take your trust enterprise and go open up a whole life insurance policy with a non-MEC, non-modified endowment contract, and therefore you can get anywhere from 6 to 8% return on the money that you have in that account. You can take out a policy loan to take money whenever you need. Trusts do not pay taxes on loans. Neither does any type of entity pay taxes on loans. The wealthy stores their money in life insurance and they pull their money out in the form of a loan. It's not taxable. These are different things that you can do, right? So you have to understand the difference between principal and property, principal and income. So if you are an employee and you've set up your Foreign Express Trust, you have set up your trust enterprise bank account, you're an employee, and you're trying to figure out, okay, here we are at the end of the year. I'm just coming into this information and I need to figure out what to do with my taxes. Come January, there is a deadline. You need to know this. Your foreign trust does not have any tax deadlines. It is not required to pay taxes, even though you have not received that special letter that I've showed you guys, where it says there you have no responsibility or not required to file 1041s for the rest of the life of the trust. You don't need that letter to operate in that way, but it's nice to have in your portfolio. So keep working at it and you'll get it. But as of right now, if you are an employee and you're trying to figure out what to do, just know this: you've created a trust enterprise. That means all the monies that you have earned that's listed on that W-2 is considered a payment to the trustee. He receives it for what? As a return from a principal asset. What is the principal asset? The authenticated birth certificate. Hence the $9 billion lien, the promissory note. The birth certificate is the collateral inside of that promissory note, the principal asset. So when you've made your trust enterprise, trustee minutes number 5, it's the plenipotentiary of power contract. When you've put that together, you basically said all of your income is going directly to the trust enterprise for who? The Foreign Express Trust. That's the hierarchy. That's the order of things. Now, when it comes time to filing, you're not going to file a standard 1040 on its own. You are going to file a 1041 from the trust. And from there, depending on what you mark off in that 1041, it's going to lead to different forms. Everyone is going to be different. It's going to lead to different forms, and it will show, oh, the money that's listed on that W-2 or that 1099, it owes allegiance to the trust. It's considered income to the trust, which the trust does not have to file for. It's already on the zero file list. So then it goes to another category. What can the trust select as expenses. I want you guys to go back to the video that I put out on trademark. Trademark is important. If your name is trademarked with the Secretary of State on behalf of the Foreign Express Trust, your trustee from the Express Trust can send you an invoice saying, look, I own the mark. I own the logo of your name. Here's the bill. And that bill can be for the entire amount that you've earned, whether you're an employee or whether you're self-employed. Therefore, all of the monies that you have earned from the year has to be distributed to the trust enterprise. That right there alone takes care of any monies that you owe. It doesn't go to the IRS, it goes to the trust. Then they have to look to the trust for the money. Oh, this entity doesn't pay taxes. Okay, next person. It's that simple. This is what Amazon does, Nike, all of them. Trademarking. They have different entities set up for a reason. And we have to realize that tax havens are right here within the 50 countries. You don't have to seek Belize or any of those other countries. It's right here within common law. All right. So we'll stop here. We'll go to questions. We'll try to finish this up next week, this book here. But I want you guys to get it. Just go to Google and type in IRS publication Express Trust. And this link will come up and you can read it in your own time. But for now, let's go ahead and go to questions. If you have any questions pertaining to what we just discussed, or any questions pertaining to the courses, we will discuss that. One announcement here. I see that you've joined me. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, but you're listed as Brew Claus. Is that Melanie? If so, I have information for you, so I will be contacting you after this call.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I will be contacting you after this call.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Questions. Let's go to TJ.
Good afternoon, Avery. Thanks for taking my question.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I may have missed it when you were saying it, but when it comes to the taxes, and I know we didn't go deep into it yet, who is going to be filing? Would it be the Express Trust or the enterprise?
It's going to be your Foreign Express Trust on the 1040 form. I'm sorry, 1041. And you will get to a certain section on that 1041 where you have the opportunity to list the trust enterprise as well. Okay. So there's going to be about 3 EIN numbers if you're an employee. So it's the Foreign Express Trust, it's 98 number. It's going to be Trust Enterprise, its number, and it's going to be a 1040, which is your social. If you're not a employee, then it's going to be Form 1120, obviously, if you're using an LLC.
I see. And will you be doing recoupment of those entities? So entity, meaning like what was granted over in form of securities?
Well, the first thing you want to do is make sure that those entities are under the trust using IRS Form 8832, right? Make sure you've done that. That is the entity reclassification process.
Correct.
Depending on what you've done in the taxable year, as far as securities goes, I mean, if you're talking about recouping any monies or trying to sell those securities, that's a whole nother process. It has nothing to do with the tax part.
Okay, yeah, no, I was thinking specifically like if I'm recouping my my banking, so my deposits and things of that nature.
No, that's a whole nother thing. And I think that's really getting into becoming a banker itself.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to James Saunders. You're unmuted.
Hey, what's up, Avery? piggybacking off of what you said, and I'll make this real quick. So you said the trust is the introduction. That I didn't catch it fast enough. The trust is the introduction. The trust summary is what?
Man, you the one who told me this yesterday.
Well, I broke it down a different way.
Yeah. Well, the declaration of trust
The
is
glossary thing, right? Basically.
no. The declaration of trust is your introduction,
Okay.
right? Purchase a book, you open the first page, you're briefed with the introduction. Your summary minutes is the table of contents. The trustee minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, as much as you have. Those are the chapters of the book,
Okay.
right? And then you get to the conclusion, kind of like when you write an essay. When we were in school, we learned how to write essays in different paragraphs. So the proof of service is the conclusion. It's who you're sending it to. The declaration under penalties of perjury is there. The date is there, the sealing, all of that is the conclusion.
Okay. What were the 5 books that you mentioned that you said you might want to grab them because they get out of stock on Amazon?
5 books, let me show you. If I were to go to Amazon right now and search in the category of books, and we go to American Jurisprudence 2D, these books here,
Okay, I'm gonna screenshot
right?
it.
Here's the one that we read in the IRS publication dealing with corporations. As you see, they are hard to come by. We go to another one. Let's try weapons. I just got this one. Just came in the mail. This one you can buy used for $44. Get that to your account.
I can try to compile a list of all kinds of book websites that I know about and try to get them to you to maybe help people out too, to try to find these books.
That too. Please do that. Here's a hardcover for $67. So you'll get them sporadically, right? But if you have other sources where we can get them, that's great as well.
One of them's called A Books. I know that there's a bunch of them out there.
Okay. Cool.
The other thing, the individual that we both know that I told you, he needed you to call him. I was mistaken. He said that he messaged you and he got the answer that he needed. So I guess he doesn't need it anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, you guys, I try to get back to you guys as soon as I can, really. I know you're contacting me and through email and my assistant. We're doing the best we can, but we will get back to you, even though we see them. There's also the messages in Patreon as well. We see that as well. We will get to them. Just be patient with us. We'll get to it. And if it's dire and it's an emergency, please make that known when you call that 888 number. Say, look, this is a serious situation. I need it right now. And we'll get that. We look at everything according to relevance. So thank you, James. Thank you.
No problem. That's all I needed was just to ask, piggyback off of those things.
Okay. All right. Going to Nasoma. You are unmuted. Just unmute your mic.
Great day. How are you?
Great day. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good. Wonderful. Thank you. I'm so new to this group. I got introduced to your group by another group that I was in, but I wanted to see how I can schedule a consultation with you, if possible, in regards to a foreclosure case that I have pending for December the 8th.
December
To
the
see
8th.
like what my options are and what I can do.
Do you know when you received that notice of default?
Some while ago, I had already had somewhat of a hearing and they rescheduled it. When I went before the court, I tried to it was a Zoom meeting. I tried to get it in person. And I tried to express my trust, but of course the judge didn't really want to hear me expressing the trust during the time. In the meanwhile, I guess I had gotten notice from the Attorney General because I had ended up filing a 1099-B
Mhm,
on the lawyers and then on the judge as well.
mhm.
So yeah, so I was given notice that not to do anything more on the judge. So she recused herself, and now they recently appointed another judge
Mhm.
to the case. So it's December the 8th. There's a new hearing.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, and you could just say yes or no.
Mhm.
Is the amount of arrears, is it just astronomical and it can't be brought current?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's correct.
it is, okay.
Mhm.
So they're really gonna want this thing to come current, regardless of trust or not,
Mhm.
because the way they look at it is who's on title right now. And right now, most likely it's in an artificial entity's name.
Mhm.
The trust is trying to speak in court, but the trust is not on title. The
Yes.
trust hasn't done a quitclaim deed from yourself as the grantor to the trust as the grantee. So you can do a process where, you can buy some time to
Okay.
help you gather the funds, or potentially get, a private lender to do some type of refinancing and to bring you current that way. Because you're
Mhm.
gonna want to get yourself to a position where you can lawfully go down to the county and put this thing into your trust. Okay. That process I'm talking about is a writ of lis pendens. It's going to be a
Mhm.
cloud on the title. Now that gives you time to get your affairs in order. You have to stay in honor. That's the thing. When it comes to trust, if we're operating in common law, we have to
Mhm.
stay in honor at all times.
Okay.
Even if
Okay.
we know we have been bamboozled, they've sold the note, and they won't give us a copy of the note. We know that there's laws out there that says the note and the deed, if they're separated, the whole thing is null and void. We know
Okay.
that, but we have to stay in honor as we fight these things.
Okay.
Okay. So if you like to do a consultation with me on that, it is a court matter. You can contact that 888 number to let them know, and we'll get you scheduled.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Right. Rick, how you doing? Rick, you are unmuted. There you go.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Thank you.
Real quick, what you're talking about, what do you do with money that the IRS going to owe you at the end of the year?
What I do with the money, I do is, well, here's what I would do. Exactly what those top Fortune 500 companies do. I would take that money and utilize it for business expenses for next year's journeys and endeavors. And I'm going to file those expenses the very same way that got me the return in the first place. So that way, whatever profit I make in the year, I don't have to take any expenses from that to make money the following year. Now, some of
Well,
those,
no,
I would divide it up.
no, that's good, but that's not what I'm looking for.
What you got?
Um, w- when you file your, or you, the, what I'm saying is that what about the monies that I've paid into the IRS that doing my 1041 would get it back to me?
No. If you've already paid money to the IRS, it's gone.
No, but normally if you do your 10 that Jimmy, like I've my money that I've done a W2,
Mhm.
they've taken the money out, but when I filed my last taxes, I got my money back.
Okay. So you've done that from a standpoint of filing with your social security number. Right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
some credits were applied that allowed you to do that. When it comes to the trust, you don't have credits like that. All
Right.
you have is what the trust owns as property via trademark, okay, and common law. So there are no credits because the trust is starting from a position of zero. You were starting from a position of here's 90,000 that we've made. We've already paid in throughout the year, maybe let's say $12,000, and it probably was an overpayment. So with the additional credits, they give you some of that 12,000 back. That's
Right.
completely different from a standpoint of the trust owing nothing from the beginning. So at that point, you will have to show everything as an expense that rightfully comes back to the trust. What classifies as a rightful return is any type of sales tax or any tax that's not considered a direct tax by the Constitution. If it is a liquor tax, that's constitutional. If it is a tobacco tax, that is constitutional. Everything else is unconstitutional as a bill of attainder, so it will come back.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Good question. Really good question. Right. AJ, what's going on?
Good morning.
Good day.
I didn't think we had class today, so I was late.
Oh, it's okay.
So I just missed about 30 minutes of the class and was hearing this last part you were just saying, and that's been something I've been very curious about, as you probably know. Yes, and what you were just expressing to Rick, would gas also be not on the list?
Federal excise tax is on the list for return.
And so that's what the gas tax is. That's what gas, when we pay gas. That's what. Okay.
Petroleum. Yep.
All right. Well, I called the 888 number. The person was very, very professional. So my hat off to that person. And I left a message. I don't know if you got it or not, but the situation that happened, I went to the courthouse Monday and found out more details. And basically, we were not removed. The record still showed that my mom and I are on title. And my sister, it seems, and I forget the exact wording, and that's my bad because I didn't remember the wording, but what they expressed was, since my mom had an estate was created, it says on the paperwork. So I guess the property is either in her portion is either in there now or will be upon her death. I'm not clear exactly on that, but that's what it seems like. And so I think they did add my sister to it. So what's the next thing that I can do?
Well, you have copies of what you've obtained, right?
No.
No. Okay. If you can get copies of what you saw or of what they told you, I really want to see this thing because it sounds like all three of you are on there now versus just her.
Yeah, I got to make sure I understand that too, because if it's her estate, my mom has no paperwork of an estate being created, and so my sister doesn't have any paperwork of anything. So this is just written on a piece of paper, and that was it. So on that document, I should say, it's basically saying.
Right. Well, they did it because it doesn't necessarily need to be written. It can be done by oral. And that's probably why they filed it that way at the time.
Ah, okay. So
That's-
could I remember some discussion that you and I had about my mom writing out some stuff on purpose saying that she changed her mind and everything. Would something like that apply if we find out the information is what we need?
Not sure, but if this thing started as an oral agreement and they filed it that way, if you guys were to bring an actual deed or a document right now to them that's written with all 3 signatures on there, that you want to take it over to the trust as a quitclaim, that means all 3 of you are to be considered the grantors, and that trust will be the grantee. That should be no problem at that point. And I think that will be better. That will resolve your issue, because the last time we spoke, your sister was kind of apprehensive because of the whole money order thing and her receiving some type of valuable consideration. Well, now, if it's all 3 of you on there, none of you need to receive anything. You could just state, like I said, the Morgan Silver dollars, monies and species. No one needs to receive anything. Just have all 3 of you sign it. Maybe add a 4th party to be the witness that you guys have signed it, and send that over to the trust. Take that document down to the county and be done with it.
Okay, so what is that? What's the result of that if she is a grantor?
She's already a grantor because she's on title. So whoever is on title right now, sounds like it's all 3 of you. You, all 3 need to agree. That's what a trust is, where 2 or more gather together. There will he be in the midst, right? So
Okay.
the 3 of you are there, and you're putting it in writing, and you're saying, we no longer want to be listed as the owners of this property. We want the trust to be the owners. It's just that quitclaim deed that I gave you already. Just
Okay.
tailor it a bit to add all 3 names as the grantors.
So the effect of that is that essentially none of us are owners anymore. The trust owns it.
Correct.
And then so no more claims basically are us individually having on the property anymore.
Correct.
Okay. So then that would work out. She won't have any say in anything else because the trust has nothing included with her in it.
Correct. That is
Okay.
correct. Now, you don't have to add your foreign trustee on the documents that they have you sign. So instead, it may be a good idea for you while you're in California, go ahead and create your unincorporated association for $25. Secretary of State website has the form. It's called UA 100. You can do it online, and you'll create that and have that person sign off on the documents down at the county. And this is well after you and your sister and your mom has signed the quitclaim deed. Your sister has nothing to do with this whole unincorporated association part. She doesn't have anything to do with it. So do this after. That way there's somebody who is actually signing the document for this, because someone has to be responsible to receive information when it comes to taxes every year for property taxes and all of that. And that's usually going to be the trustee.
Okay.
So I'd rather you keep your guys' names off of it, off the public record. And so if you have your unincorporated association receiving everything, it's still you guys getting that information, but liability is completely off of you.
You're the best. So the individual who answered the phone on the 88 number, we tried to get me online that day, and we were not able to access the Calendary program. So since then, I have not gone back. So how do I find this thing, and where's the best place to find your specific stuff?
Oh no, it's just we usually turn those off during the holiday weeks. That's all. So they're going to be back on.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. So my assistant looks at your inquiry there, she'll send you a live link. That's where it's turned back on.
Okay. And then she'll contact me too about setting up an appointment. Okay. Well, when things are running again, I will go in and get a copy of. And so would you request to the county person for a copy of the statements?
Yeah, I want everything. I want you to get a copy of everything that your mom has signed as far as an estate, um, you know, everything that they told you. Get a copy of it.
Well, there is no other piece of paper. All that was a quit claim deed.
There you go. You want that.
And I have that.
Mhm.
And I have the original. So she was just explaining what it said on in their system.
Well, if they can give you a printout of what that looks like, that'd be great because we need to be for sure.
Okay, the specific wording. Okay.
We got to be for sure that it's all three currently listed on that title. And if it's
Okay.
not, then we know who to exclude and who to include.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Let's go to Karif. I haven't heard from you in a long time. How you doing, man?
Doing good, Avery. Happy Thanksgiving and holidays to everybody. I got my paperwork. I don't know if you've seen it on the Telegram, but things are moving forward. But my question is related to what the topic is, as far as the taxes and everything. And I guess my question is geared towards the social security number and taxes. So my understanding is most of the taxes are related to the social security number and the trust of the social security number. And I guess, how does that relate to a topic that we talked about before, far as collapsing that trust? How does that relate? I guess that's what the question is.
Collapsing a trust has everything to do with insolvency court, bankruptcy court. So it is one entity filing a lawsuit against the other. Usually the other is the party that the complainant controls. So in this case, your trust will file a lawsuit against your social security name. And in that process, in that type of a lawsuit, you would have no choice but to file for bankruptcy because you cannot pay off, what you owe to the creditor. Because all of the assets that you own belong to the creditor, the secured creditor, secured party, which is your trust, all of those assets do not need to be sold. So they would have to create what's called a bankruptcy estate for you. This is the court that does this. They create a bankruptcy estate for you. And there is an unlimited amount of money in that account. Court is directly related to the bank. All right. And all of your attorneys who are in those courts, in those abuse and neglect courts, administrative proceedings, they've given an oath, not to the state, but they've given an oath to the bar, which is in England. And that's where all of this money is being derived from. So when you do a process like that called trust collapse, I'm sorry, but I've never done it. I know individuals who have done it and who are still fighting it. So the information that I'm relaying to you is coming from that. So when you do that, in a sense, what you're trying to do is collapse the Social Security trust. The funds will be distributed to the actual trust, but they're only going to distribute those funds in segments, little pieces. They do not do it in full. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not really so much worried about doing that process. I'm more focused on getting you guys to be tax exempt in every aspect of your life and to help you guys flourish when it comes to commerce. Regardless of what business ideas that you have, let's set it up correctly to where you can make as much as you want and even put yourself in a position where when you are, adding these things with life insurance, you can take those contracts, those notes and bonds and sell them. It's another way of funding the trust. I would much rather go that route because I have more of an understanding of it, I have more experience with it versus collapsing a trust in court. Okay. I've seen that the trust collapse process takes a long time. a very long time.
Got you. Thank you. And just to share a little information, with the paperwork I received a document from the IRS saying I no longer have to file the 1041. And just for any newcomers or any people that have been here for a little while, within that process, I had to resubmit my 8832, basically putting my foreign trustee, my sole trustee, on that form. Initially, when I filed my information or when I got my 98 number, I used my name for both of the slots, as far as the trustee and the grantor. And I remember that you told us they will probably audit and possibly close the 98 from that perspective. So just wanted to share that with anybody that's in that part of the process. I did have to submit that additional 8832, and they did not relate the paperwork to that additional 8832. They went back to the initial documentation, which was dated at January 29th, 2022. And I had submitted that 8832 6 months later. So they kind of like, we don't want to mention that. We'll just mention the initial paperwork. So just to share a little information with everybody.
Thank you for that. Thank you. It is a process when it comes to getting those things done, but you learn the best through making a mistake. And I guarantee you will never make that mistake again.
No, sir.
Ever. And I'm telling you guys, I learned this from tons of mistakes. You have to make it. Now, being a part of this helps you to avoid some of those things, but you just have to make them, man. You really do. It is the only way to get to the end of a specific process that you're seeking to do. You got to make them. They're a good thing in this particular subject. Thank you, Sharif. Great for sharing that.
No problem.
Right, we're going to Blue Nova. How are you? You are unmuted.
How you doing, Avery? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I got the complete course, and I've done the DBAs. I've done the copyright on the website. I'm in the holding process, waiting on my birth certificate to come back from the federal level. And my question was, I had started some things before I became aware of the 0%. And then when I got aware of it, started looking over the information, I paused what I was previously doing. One of the things I did was I got a revocable trust done up by an attorney. And watching you and your processes, I'm thinking, could I possibly use this revocable trust as a means of commerce and do an 8832 to the Foreign Express Trust in place of the one that I did the DBA on? I wanted to hear your suggestion on that, what you think. Because, you know, like I said, I spent the money on I did it. Is there no use case scenario for that trust that I created, domestic?
Do you know what kind of a trust your attorney created for you? I know you said revocable, but there are multiple layers below that. Do you know what he created?
I couldn't tell you exactly. He sent me the binder with everything in it, and only thing I did was get a EIN number for that trust. But I
It
have
could
the,
be an inter vivos trust. It could be an inter vivos. It could be a living trust. I'd have to see the terms and conditions.
oh, it's a living trust. Yeah. That's what it is. A living
Okay.
revocable trust. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, depending on the terms of that trust, if he's provided them, you might be able to use it as a U.S. fiduciary on behalf of your foreign express trust. Okay. If that is possible, what I want you to do is you can make yourself the trustee. You can make an unincorporated association of the trustee, heck, even an LLC or corporation to be the face of that trustee and not yourself. You want to keep yourself anonymous at all times. But it's possible. Yeah, you can definitely try to do that. If it's not, if you look at those terms and conditions and it has just too much, it's giving too much power to the state, then I would completely just leave it alone and go into the sophomore and junior class. We'll show you how to put that trust enterprise together and use that as a replacement.
Oh, I have the trust enterprise ready. I've already done it. Just as you said, I just hadn't went to the bank because one thing I was thinking of, I got a credit union, Navy Federal and Chase Bank. Which one would you think is best, a credit union or a bank?
There really is no preference. Just I'd say go with the one that allows you to set it up the way you want it to be set up.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
No problem. All right, Charles, how you doing?
Well, hello, how are you?
I'm good today. Thank you.
You talk about someone who makes all the mistakes in the world, you don't know, then you call out my name. So
Right there with you.
I hear you got to go through something to get something. I wanted to just share some information and just get more direction. I did try to sign up. I did sign up for the class in last month, and I was not able to get access to the information in the sophomore. But more essentially, I have 3 cases going on at the same time, all based on no due process that attacked us in 2020 in the beginning of COVID from the IRS agent. With that being said, we've gone through the full process of doing an administrative procedure for both situations where we defaulted them both, and I'm in the federal court and they're just kicking the can down the road. The IRS agent is very aggressive, but it's all fraudulent, and they've been garnishing and a lot of things that have been going on with the tax lien. So we finally just recently received a notice from the U.S. tax court, which I requested, and I believe it's because of the whistleblowing information that I just submitted based on what we did was a full forensic audit. So that's where we're at, and I really want to get into the system properly so I can start my trust. So I want to move from the sophomore to the freshman.
Right. Yeah, that will definitely help. If you have
Yeah.
any properties that's associated with this case, you want to quickly get that into the title of the trust on a quitclaim deed. At this point, it's all about taking everything out of your name into the trust, because that's what they're coming after. That's where the garnishments are coming from, all of that. They're trying to garnish and take away your assets. But if it belongs to the trust, they can't do it.
I'm in bankruptcy now just to stop it. They tried to sell the property on, believe it or not, Halloween. So I filed bankruptcy to stay the sale. So I'm really thinking I'm doing an adversarial procedure at this point, but I would definitely love to speak with you in reference to what some of my options should be.
Okay. Okay. If you can schedule an appointment the way you know how, and I definitely will need to look at some documentation throughout our Zoom call.
Not a problem.
Okay. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Mhm. IRS Federal Tax Court, biggest bullies of them all, trying to flash the badge and their guns on their hip, but really, they really have no power. Let's go to Jabari. How you doing, Jabari?
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, Avery.
Greetings.
How are you today?
I am wonderful.
Excellent. I have a 3-part question. They all tie into each other.
Mhm.
In the process of doing the name change in the court,
Mhm.
any additional verbiage that should go into the the section where they say, why are you asking for a name change?
Yes, that's going to be the information that we list on our passport explanatory statements will be in your statement. So of course, when you go to do your name change, they give you forms, of course, and they only want you to stick to those forms. But I want you guys to attach an affidavit with those forms to demand that the judge puts in his decree who you are, where you're from, and all of that information that you see in the explanatory statement. Remember that Public Law 94-241, where you make a declaration saying that you are a Hoosier national if you're born in Indiana, or a New Yorker national if it's New York. Whatever state you're born in, you have to put that nationality there and finish off the statement, but not a United States citizen. If you are someone who is highly melanated in skin color, or like myself, speckled, freckled, but his parents are highly melanated, you want to put your class with more. You want to say swarthy, you want to say tawny. Say what you are. If you're German national, say all of that information. That has to be listed just to get you away from that whole United States citizen classification, US American, US, all of that stuff, national. We don't want that in there. So we have to be very precise. To get it specific, please look at that passport explanatory statements in the senior course. I want you to add that in there when you apply for your name change.
So you're saying use the explanatory statement as an attachment to the name change.
No, just that section that we're talking about in the explanatory section, explanatory statements.
Gotcha.
Section that talks about your nationality. Put that in there.
Okay. My next question, I guess that ties into the passport. The question I have with the passport is because I will have the new name change, being that I placed that onto the passport and I'm putting all zeros in for the social security number, that then does not designate or give the new name a social security number, and they would not require, and nothing would just automatically transfer over from my old name to my new name regardless of social security number, correct?
That's correct. They will not require a social security number when you give them a name change decree. So they're hoping that you get your name change and go down to the Social Security Administration office and do that. But no, you're not going to do it. And this is why they want you to write on there that I swear I do not have a social security number. And the only way you can lawfully say that to be true is you've done a name change and this new name does not have a social. I swear it doesn't have one. So I have to put zeros. Now, here's where they get you. Let's say you did take that new name and you went and got a new, you added it to the Social Security number administration, and then you did something like this. They will go back and check. And of course, rescind your passport, and they'll send out a warrant for your arrest.
Wow.
So please do not add the new title nobility name to the social. Do not do that.
Okay. My next question is with the DBAs that you provided on 0%. I noticed that they're all designated in box number 4 as a business is or was conducted by the trust. So regardless of what the entity is, it's always going to be designated by the trust.
Which form? I'm sorry.
The DBAs,
All
6 of them, as I looked through them, regardless if they were done by LLC or created by the LLC or doing business through the LLC. In your box 4, you have it designated that they're all defaulted by business is or was conducted by the trust. So that will stay true for all of them because that's who is conducting the business, the trust.
Correct.
Okay.
Trust is the beneficial owner, and you guys are the managers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. Last question.
I can't take anymore. I got to go to it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you. Come back in or put that question in the Patreon message and I'll try to answer it there.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. All right, Jackie, how you doing?
Hello, Avery. Hello, everyone. Avery, I know that I have a consultation coming up with you on the 30th, but listening to everybody's questions, I have a few of those myself. I know we can't get everything in, and I'm looking forward to the 30th. My first question, when you were talking about the name change, I just recently did a name change by card, and it's Jacqueline Yvette Crawford L. I have not did it in court yet, but what I wanted to ask is, when it comes to doing a paramount claim, what documents would I take and put with the paramount claim to file for the name change in probate court?
Excuse me. The power that you're seeking when it comes to the paramount claim is already done with your trustee minutes. So when you do
Okay.
your name change, you make that declaration inside of your trustee minutes, and it's being held by your foreign trustee. That's just the initial part of it. From there, you then follow through at the court, you do your name change, and make sure you add that section from the explanatory statements that I mentioned in the previous caller. That will be listed inside of your decree. It's going to say your old name, you're now known as the new name, and you are a such and such national, but not a US citizen or not a US national. You want that there. You're going to take that decree and you're going to use it with your passport application and an explanatory statement to go with it. That's
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And then my next.
Run out of time. I have to take one question per person just to finish the last three up.
Oh.
I will get to the rest of your questions in our consultation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Reggie Bay, what's going on?
Hey, every.
Hey there. Hey.
Hey, real quick, man.
Oh man, wrong Reggie. I was thinking of somebody else. Go ahead.
I thought you might have hit the wrong one because it clicked on me, man. But it's all right. It's all right, man. Hey, just a quick question, man. Do you know? Have you came across where they sending water bills to people's taxes and then putting liens on them, foreclosure liens on the houses?
I've seen that. How you get rid of it is when you put the house in the trust, that manufactured home transaction, on that non-UCC, you're going to do another one. And this time you're going to list the water company as the debtor, and you would put transmitting utility on there, right? That is going to prevent them from doing that.
Okay.
For the process. I mean, that
it might be too late now, but
it might be. I mean, was there a court case pertaining to that or no?
Yeah, it's actually it's from my grandma. It's coming up actually in a couple of weeks. They already trying to foreclose on it, and it's like $17,000 water bill on a commercial property. It had a pipe bust outside, and it's actually the water company's responsibility, but she don't have the time really at this point to try to fight it.
Yeah, I would do a list pendants on that case number and transfer the property over to the trust, and then do a 10% accord and satisfaction.
Gotcha. Okay. I appreciate it, man.
All right. We'll work on it.
Yep.
Frenchie, how you doing?
Hi, Avery. Hi, everyone. Okay, I have a quick question regarding my bill of complaint that I'm filing next week, because it's the deadline, the 90 days. I just want to make sure I'm going to do it right. First, there's two ways to file my complaint at the county. There is e-file or in person. Which one would you recommend?
It doesn't matter. I mean,
okay.
Well, I guess it does. Can you do it in person?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just, because I went online trying to familiarize myself when it's time. And I was like, if I don't have to see them, but I can go. I can absolutely go. No worries, I'll go. And then my next thing is the fact that when I file, sorry, let me regroup. that bill of complaints. I need to file it first, then I'm gonna get a case number, and then I put that in on the rest of the bill of complaint that then I mail to.
No. So when you go down there and you file your bill of complaint, usually they're
Yes.
gonna have a cover form or something for you to fill out.
Okay,
It's the standard for their clerks to go off of as they're putting it into the system.
mm-hmm,
You will attach your bill of complaint that you've already typed up, right?
yes,
And you're gonna attach that with it. So
Okay.
that's gonna be like an exhibit to their
Mhm.
form.
okay,
You'll automatically get a case number when they put this into the system.
correct.
Sometimes they'll stamp it in that
Mhm.
section for you where it says bill of complaint case number.
Mhm.
If not, no worries. You have a case number and that you'll use it for all of the documents going forward. Now,
Mhm.
after they filed it, you
Mhm.
must serve it to whoever you're suing.
Correct.
Once you serve it, you must send a certificate of service back
Yes.
to the court so that they know you gave it to them, and that's when the clock starts.
That's why I wanted to have that timeline. So the certificate of service is after I serve that.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, going to Sapphire. How you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quick question. This is my first time. I just joined. But I
Welcome.
oh, thank you. I just wanted to know, is there a way to do this process going the Aborigine indigenous route? Like if I have an express trust that way, like is it possible to continue going that route, this
Mhm.
route with that? Or would
I
I have
have dealt with some people who come from, I forget the name of his organization, but it was Dr. Muhammad Ali. And he has done a process as well with the trust. I think he set most of those up to where you're recognized as a United States national. And that is something that you don't want to be a part of. I don't know if that's what you've done,
No,
but
it's not.
okay, good. So to really answer that question, I need you to get a consultation with us and ask to book a doc review. A doc review with us will allow us to look over what you've done and to see if it is according to the law that the counties are looking for. Okay, so then we can kind of guide you from there as to what you have. So if you call that number that you see in the chat, 888-899-2262, you'll be able to schedule a consultation with one of our consultants. We'll look at your docs. We'll share our screen with you. We'll go over in deep detail, answer any questions you have, so that way you know what you have.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. All right, last one, Jacob R. What's going on?
Hey Avery. So my question is for tying my trust to my construction business. Is that just a simple matter of filing the 8832?
Yes, and one additional step. Your 8832 is the federal level. Now we got to
Okay.
take care of it on the state level. And we also have to take care of it on the county level. On the state level, you got to redo your articles of organization. You have to list your express trust as the member, the sole member, and you must list yourself or any artificial entity that you want as the manager. Then you're going to go down to the county and file a DBA. The DBA is going to say the name of your express trust doing business as the name of the LLC. Okay, you can do that using their forms, or you can do that by filing an affidavit of miscellaneous fictitious name. And that gives you the opportunity to, write up your entire DBA in the form of an affidavit. I prefer that one, the affidavit format, because the forms that they give you are only good for 5 years. It's under their statutes. But if you do the affidavit standpoint, it lasts forever. You'll be able to record it in there, no problem. And it will be considered an uncontested statement by the municipalities. And if it's uncontested, that's it. It stands as true forever.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. Last thing is the S4 form. Was that supposed to be faxed or mailed back to the IRS?
You just use that form as a guide, fill it out the way you've seen me do it in the freshman course. And then I need you to make that call to the IRS and just go ahead and use it as a guide. You don't have to fax it. You don't have to mail it off. It's just a guide to help
Okay,
you conduct your Internal Revenue Service interview.
thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right, guys, that's going to be our class today. Thank you for joining. It was very helpful for myself learning where you guys are. Hope it was beneficial to you. We'll continue this next Saturday. If you have any questions pertaining to this, send your questions inside of Patreon or call that 888 number to get an in-depth consultation with us. Holidays are over for a short term until we get closer into the latter half of December. So send your consultation request in. My assistant will take a look at those and sort those out the best that she can, as fast as she can. So please be patient, but we will get you scheduled. All right. Melanie, look out for my call. I'm calling you right now. Everybody else, I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Very, very welcome.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Tell your mom hello.
I will. She's probably listening.
I sent you that list to the link for all the different book websites.
You're in our prayers, Avery mom.
Avery, this is Timothy. Can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing, Tim?
Yes. So I went on to try to get a consultation on the link, and it says that it's invalid.
Right. They were turned off for the Thanksgiving holiday week, but they're turned back
Oh,
on.
okay.
My assistant's going to see your request.
Right. Okay.
The link will be on for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.